Tasmania is an awesome place for kayakers. There are heaps of classic runs to enjoy, and there's beautiful wilderness in every corner of the state. This winter, we decided to go off the beaten track and seek out an old-fashioned Sufferfest. We were seeking an epic trip somewhere awesome, and we were willing to endure long walks, scrub, tree-chugged rapids, and generally suffer a bit to achieve it. As we drove up to Launceston, the weather was bad enough to deter any potential paddling partners, so it was looking promising for a Sufferfest. We headed up into the hills to explore Weavers Creek.
We're here at the Weaver River, Weaver Creek, something like that. We didn't think we'd be doing it today, but we are, and it should be good.
The river was an absolute gem, with 5 kilometres of great whitewater. Because the whole thing was so nice, we'd need to find our Sufferfest somewhere else. We scheduled the Wey River for next weekend. The Wey River was pretty average. It lacked quality, but it also lacked suffering. The mossy Myrtle Forests were beautiful, but they made portaging easy, and the log-choked rapids were a breeze. The Fall River was our next objective. Satellite photos showed it would be tight and tree-choked. Promising. After just 200 metres of scrubby river, we were back in beautiful Myrtle Forest again. This time, the river was top quality, with heaps of slides and waterfalls packed into a short section. After another unintentionally pleasant trip, we thought maybe a big walk-in would achieve the Sufferfest that we saw. There was some difficulty in finding the next appropriate Sufferfest that wouldn't involve missing work on Monday. We received some great beta on the 9-kilometre walk-in to the Little River, so we decided to try it. Sunny weather and some team carrying meant that our hike was done in only 3 hours. Maybe we needed to bring more hard shells. Another fun river meant that our Sufferfest had still eluded us. Next up was the Hansens River. The crux of this trip involved a 2-kilometre bush bash over a saddle. We said to ourselves, it's only 2 kilometres, maybe it'll take a couple of hours, no big deal. We decided we'd allow 2 days for the Hansens trip just to be safe, expecting a relaxed weekend. We crossed the 4th River and were immediately met with thick scrub from fire regrowth. So far so good. After an hour of walking, we'd made it 250 metres. After 5 hours of walking, we'd only made it halfway through our 2-kilometre walk-in, and it was starting to get dark, so we camped. Despite the hard scrub, we were still having a good time. Whenever we burst into a clearing filled with beautiful moss and ferns, the suffering faded away. Despite some doubts about finishing the trip on schedule, we continued the next morning and pushed deeper into the scrub. 3 hours later, we reached the river. The paddling was great, with a number of good drops in a tight canyon and a few log jams too. Just as the light faded, we reached the cars, very satisfied with our trip. Over 5 weekends, we had done 3 first ascents and 2 remote rivers which had only been pack rafted previously. We're still in search of a good Sufferfest. I think that we just can't avoid enjoying ourselves when we're out in the wild.